入ってる。
Well, 42 runs and 3 wickets in that middle session on what is technically the second day of play of this World Test Championship final. It is the third day officially, but for New Zealand, they'll be happy that all those 3 wickets were the tail end of India's and not their own. They are 36 without loss in 21 overs. This is Intel Presents ESPN Written for Match Day, powered by Royal Stag. Steyn and Sanjay Manjrekar have plenty to answer because we've now seen at least 21 overs of the other team bat as well. I think the first question would be, is it at all looking easier for New Zealand to bat on? Is it less challenging than what it was looking for India and all the overs that they batted over the last 2 days? Sanjay?
See, the pitch, as we mentioned earlier as well, is getting a little quicker. The tennis ball kind of, bounce has stopped. The moisture-laden surface that the Indian batters got in the morning session isn't there anymore. There were signs, even when the Indians were batting, that the ball was coming onto the bat. Now, what you're seeing really is a team like New Zealand that have some genuine swing bowlers versus a team that is primarily seam bowlers who get movement off the pitch and not much in the air. So we've seen nothing in the air, whereas somebody like a SOUTHEE with the new ball also will get that ball, to swing with that angled wrists and stuff. So you'll start seeing the ball move a little bit as this Duke's, ball gets a little older. It's not like the Kookaburra that swings no matter what, the red ball. The Duke's ball takes a little while to swing for guys who bowl with a straight wrist. And I'm being so shameless, giving all this knowledge to you with the great Dale Steyn.
Yes.
They're listening to my great analysis of seam and swing.
But that's what happens. I've known in my limited time of doing this job that if I ever ask a bowler to talk about a batsman's technique, he's always reluctant, humble, apprehensive. If I ever ask a batsman to discuss a bowler, he'll go all out and critically analyze.
Yeah, because that was our topic of, that was our topic of observation, and our focal study was studying bowlers, isn't it? Wrists and everything.
Yeah.
As a batter.
Even
but I'm just embarrassed because Dale Steyn is there listening to what I've got to say.
A very interesting discussion because we've seen 21 overs of India's new ball bowlers bowl. We had built this up as two formidable bowling units. Now, Dale, do you concur that it looks like India's bowlers are getting a lot less happening in the 21 overs that we saw? And what are your observations, what Sanjay said about the type of bowlers India have versus the type of bowlers New Zealand have?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, like Sanjay said, they're more seam bowlers, not really big swingers. I mean, I've known Ishan to have these big in swingers, but they kind of hit the deck kind of bowlers. So they're looking for more purchase off the surface. What I think will happen now is we'll see the game start to speed up a little bit now that the pitch is going to start to get a little bit quicker. The Indian seamers are a little bit faster than the New Zealand bowlers, and because they don't get that big hooping swing through the air, things are going to happen a lot quicker. We might see the run rate start to get a little bit quicker, although New Zealand are just taking their time right now, which is the right thing to do. They're just steadily building an innings as they can. But maybe you'll start to see the run rate start to speed up a little bit as the wicket gets quicker. And we'll also see things like those edges happen a lot faster. This is just my opinion. I think this is what might happen is we won't see those big swinging balls that the New Zealanders bowl. We'll see the ball move a little bit later and a little bit quicker off the deck. And we've started to see it already. Although it hasn't found the edge, I've seen Conway get hit a lot in the stomach from guys like Shami coming around the wicket. The ball's just doing it a lot later off the deck, and he's not able to adjust as quickly or as soon as the Indians were to when the New Zealand bowlers were bowling. You'll see him getting hit a lot and everything like that. So the game might start to speed up now, as it should be, because we're halfway through day 2. And day 3, probably have your best day of batting, depending on whether that cloud is around.
Can I jump in and quickly ask Dale a question, Raunak, if I may? I just want to know from Dale, the ball hasn't swung for the Indian seam bowlers for the reasons that we just mentioned. Do you think with the Duke's ball, as it gets a little older, you might start seeing swing for Bumrah, Shami and Ishan?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you look at the New Zealand guys, they were swinging it all the way till when they changed that ball, the 80th over. The previous test matches that England played against New Zealand, the ball was still swinging. And the thing about the Indian bowlers is they've got the skill to swing it. I've seen Shami swing the ball, although he presents such a beautiful seam. He does get a lot more like movement off the deck. But I have seen Ishan swing it big into right-handers. Bumrah's great. His wrist is so good. At the same venue a couple of years ago against England, I watched him go away, or across to Keaton Jennings, and then all of a sudden just swing one big in. Keaton offered no shot inside of the knee. So these bowlers have the skill to swing the ball. And what I've heard about this Duke's ball of late is that it takes about 15 to 20 overs for that lacquer to get off of it, and then it starts to swing a little bit more. So maybe after tea, we might see a little bit more swing through the air from these bowlers.
I'd just like to sort of ask Dale and pick his brain. As a novice now, we tend to have a lot of people that follow cricket in India that still perhaps can't clearly distinguish between what you guys as cricketers consider genuine swing bowlers versus those that we've established as seam bowlers but can swing the ball. So it's a difference which sometimes can get confusing. Now, Dale, we've seen Ishant Sharma swing the ball, right? In our heads, we think, is he a swing bowler then? However, Sanjay is classified he's not. I know Ajit Agarkar also says that these are bowlers that need the pitch to help them, and that's what they rely on. They're more seam bowlers. Now, can you help us understand better what is the difference between what is a genuine swing bowler versus bowlers like what we've established India have, which seem like they're more seam bowlers and they don't have someone who genuinely does swing the ball, which we've seen now in this session?
I think guys that swing the ball genuinely bowl a little bit slower, and they give the ball more time through the air to kind of do stuff. In saying that, Vernon Philander didn't exactly bowl express pace, but he didn't swing the ball. He was a bit of a seamer, so he had this kind of wrist that he was able to kind of do things with it. Your taller bowlers are often bowlers that kind of hit the deck and seam the ball. So if you cast your mind back to the West Indian greats, your Curtly Ambrose and those guys, they really bowled from heights, good heights, hit the deck, seamed it. Shami's a good swing bowler, although he can also seam it. I think over a course of a period of time, we're able to start to look at a particular bowler and distinguish what they are better at. Morne Morkel forever thought he was a swing bowler, but he was actually a seam bowler. He was always trying to swing it, always trying to work out how he could swing the ball. And we were always trying to tell him, Morne, you were so good off the deck. So even international cricketers can spend their whole careers thinking that they're one thing when they're actually the other. But you can see it through the air. When guys get the ball full, it tends to swing a little bit. And when guys tend to hit the deck, it tends to move more off the deck. Sometimes the ball plays a contribution. The Kookaburra likes to swing a lot. The Duke's ball with those big pronounced seams, they can often seam a little bit more. And then to contradict myself there too, you got Jimmy Anderson with a Duke's ball who can swing it a mile. So, yeah, it is a topic up for discussion and personal opinion, really.
Sanjay, please, if you can
just
extend
for the
on
viewers to give them, examples that they can connect with, just to make it a little simpler. A Saudi is a swing bowler, and generally you'll have their wrists sort of angled more than straight, down like this. So Saudi will get that ball to swing even when it's new and even when it's old, because they're focusing on trying to get that ball to shape up. With Jimmy Anderson as well, you see that. And in the olden days, the coaching manual would have the outswing, where the ball had to be held like this and then like this. And then Glenn McGrath came in and changed the dynamics a little bit with the straighter seam. So these are your out and out swing bowlers. And as Dale said, they'll be a little slower. They'll try to get the ball full. And that's why Mohammad Siraj, for me was a tempting option, because he's a natural swing bowler, although he seams it as well. But I think he's got the gift of releasing the ball and getting it to swing both ways, because he has that kind of angled wrist. Shardul Thakur has the ability to swing the ball. Umesh Yadav can do the same, although in limited capacity when the ball is really old or really new. But these are your swing bowlers. Bumrah, Shami, and Ishan are your primarily seam bowlers, but they can swing it, and we've seen them swing the ball on occasions. Bumrah famously in England has got the ball to do a genuine outswing, and the first time when I saw it while doing commentary, I was completely, taken aback by the skill of Bumrah then.
So if he can bowl that, Does he need to bowl differently at this point? Bumrah has gone wicketless this session, Sanjay. Have India's bowlers not done something they should have?
See, the New Zealand tour for India when they were there was an eye opener, where New Zealand bowlers used swing and slow pace and made life really miserable for the Indian batsmen. The Indian seamers couldn't repay that compliment. They just couldn't get the ball to swing. So I'm not an expert to know whether Bumrah could come in and say, you know what, the next 4 over spell, I'm just going to look to bowl my outswingers and get that ball to pitch up. Maybe it is about confidence, or it's something that you've got it, or you don't have it.
Sure.
But these guys have that ability. Whether they can call it upon at their wish with a flick of the finger, that is something I don't know.
So Dale, what I'm trying to understand is, maybe you can weigh in as well, is if Team Southee was still bowling right now, or Trent Bolt, who I'm sure you also classify as a swing bowler, would they have still got the ball to do more right now? So it's not about conditions, but it's about the type of bowlers that we're witnessing?
Well, the type of bowlers, I would say, the conditions also, and sometimes you can just put it down to picking a ball. You go in there and you'll see the bowlers are always spending time and picking the ball, and sometimes you pick one you think is an absolute beauty, and for some unknown reason the ball just does not swing. It just goes gun barrel straight, and then the bowlers are looking around and they are blaming whoever picked that ball out of the box. So it could be that situation, but I think after tea, we've seen that ball with New Zealand especially. It started to swing a lot more once that lacquer kind of got off of the ball a little bit. So maybe we'll see somebody like Shami really swing it a lot more after tea. I still think Bumrah is the kind of bowler who's going to run in. He's going to bowl 145. I liked it. He was bowling a lot quicker, and you see things are happening a lot faster off the deck for him and late. I don't like it when it goes early. It gives batters. Conway's in great form. If he sees it early, he's going to leave the ball. Tom Latham, he's the kind of guy that's going to he's going to be there for a long period of time, build an innings. If he sees it early, he's going to leave it too. But Bumrah bowling 145 and things happening really late, that's when he's in trouble, guys. So I don't mind Shami swinging it, but I want to see Bumrah bowling 145, hitting that area where they're just uncertain whether they go forward, back, hitting the stumps, bringing those 3 modes of dismissals, because we talk about those 3 modes of dismissals, but in these conditions, even more so. That's where he's going to be a headache for the New Zealand batters.
Okay, I've got a lot of questions and I want to run through them. Before that, I'm just going to do this for my own knowledge and hopefully for a lot of viewers. I'm going to get Dale Steyn to Kristen the type of bowlers that we have in this game, on whether he would classify them as seam bowlers or swing bowlers. So one by one, Ishant Sharma, Dale, swing bowler, seam bowler, or can you not classify them as either one or the other?
No, I think he can one. Either seam or swing.
I think they can do. I think they can all swing the ball. I genuinely do think they can all swing the ball. All of the Indian bowlers, but I think they're best when they're seaming the ball. That's my opinion. Whereas the New Zealanders are actually
want to say that they're naturally a seam bowler. Ishant Sharma naturally seam bowler.
Naturally seam bowlers with the ability to swing it.
Let's make it a quick one, right? So Ishant Sharma naturally seam bowler. Mohammad Shami, Dale,
natural seam bowler also.
Okay, Bumrah,
seam.
All right. And as I turn it around to New Zealand's bowlers now, Southee and Bolt,
both swing bowlers.
Wagner,
he's a kind of guy that hits the deck a little bit. I wouldn't say. I think early on in his career, he did have the ability to swing it, and with the Duke's ball, he might be able to. But more recently, he's a kind of hit the deck, bang it in kind of bowler, and that's how he's primarily been used. So I'm going to go with seam right now for him, because you lose that skill. Actually, eventually, it's a skill that you have to work on all the time, and if you don't, you can lose it. So I'm gonna go with him as being a seamer right now.
Right, and the bowler of the game so far, Kyle Jameson.
I think he's a seam bowler myself. I think that's what he does. These conditions have allowed the ball to swing. So he's used the ability to swing it. But I think with his height and his pace and his bounce, I would primarily class him as a seam bowler.
Okay. In which case, before I get Sanjay also to respond to what he's heard, given we talk about how New Zealand's pacers complement each other, have India erred in picking 3 bowlers that are natural seam bowlers? Could they have just changed that up by picking Mohammad Siraj? Is Mohammad Siraj a swing bowler first and foremost? Dale?
Yeah, he can swing it. I played with him in the IPL, and he took the new ball, and I've seen him bowl some magic balls. And I can tell you something: there wasn't a lot of seam when we played in Abu Dhabi, and he cleaned a bunch of guys up, nicking them off. Bowling against KKR, he bowled some unbelievable balls, and that was pure swing. That was late swing, and yeah. So, and he's a similar height to me. He kind of does a similar thing with his wrist. So I would say that he's more natural seam swing bowler. And then he gets natural variation off the deck when the ball hits the seam. It can go a bit of both ways.
So that's the point you made, Sanjay. You were hoping India wouldn't miss a Mohammad Siraj, but I know it's early days. It's only 21 overs. A lot can still happen. But do you still get that feeling Siraj could have been a great addition here?
See, even in build-up shows to this particular match, I kept stressing on the point that we need to have one swing bowler. Even if we pick three pace bowlers, make a difficult choice and get somebody like Siraj in. I teased about Shardul Thakur in one of our run orders, but it was mostly Mohammad Siraj that I was talking about, who is a genuine natural swing bowler. But having said that, a bit early for us to say that India is missing a swing bowler, but it's something that India certainly missed in New Zealand. And so far, yes. And as I told you, I would have gone with one swing bowler, but that's not to say that India is going to lose this match because they haven't picked Siraj. That would be right to say.
It is early days, and Dale and Sanjay both said that with this gloss that's likely to come off, we might see a lot more happen. But let's just talk about tactics in the first 20 overs or so, especially from India's seamers. Dale, with the exception of Jasprit Bumrah bowling one over the wicket, there was everything going right arm around. Now, what is your assessment on that tactic? Was there too much of that, or was it the right approach?
See, Raunak, you even started off there by saying India's seamers and not India's swingers. So straight away, even you agreed that they're all seam bowlers. But no, I'm just pulling a leg. But yeah, I mean, I think they it looks like so far that the Indians like to come up with a game plan which they like to run with. We saw it with their batting. And I'm not going to go harp on their batting, but we saw it with their batting that all of the batters seem to want to get onto the front foot. It was a game plan that they've all kind of bought into, and we didn't see many of them kind of change from that game plan. Same thing's kind of happening with the bowlers right now. They've got a game plan of coming around the wicket, and they've kind of run with it right now. Saying that though, maybe after tea they'll assess it and they'll come up with a little bit of a different game plan, maybe come over a little bit more. I think they've troubled the New Zealanders from around the wicket yet. They just haven't got that breakthrough that they've been looking for just yet. It's 20 overs in, and I don't see any issues just yet. The run rate's not flying. It's 2.5 threes, which is slow anyway. I think they're just being patient there, and they feel like it's coming. And often when you feel like a wicket's coming, you don't want to change anything just yet. So the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they feel like they're just going to stick with that game plan for now.
Sanjay?
Yeah, quickly. I think, Raunak, the Indian seam bowlers came in hoping that there'll be more help for them from the pitch. And that's what they were trying to use. And Ishan coming around the wicket to left-handers has been successful all over the world. And that's been his plan A for left-handers. But I think now that they've realized there's nothing much that they're getting from the pitch, they might just want to change their strategy. And the reason why you didn't see swing is because maybe India wasn't trying to find swing and were looking to get more off the pitch. But it's been a reality check. So maybe after the break, you might see a different length being bowled.
Okay, very quickly, we talk about game plans, Sanjay, and we look at batsmen's game plans too. You've been consistently analysing what India's game plan was. Dale's mentioned as well that commitment to the front foot. Tom Latham and Devon Conway seem to be half and half in the crease. Just your thoughts on what their approach has been and different from that of India's?
See, let's be fair to India as well, because when New Zealand is playing in England, they're playing in conditions that are very similar to how they've grown up, playing or batting. So they have that kind of a game to do well in places like England. You can see when they're leaving balls and defending, it looks more close to their nature. Indians have to make a massive adjustment when they have to play in England. So they're playing like they have been brought up, playing the ball late. And they have not been predominantly back foot or predominantly front foot. They've just mixed it up nicely. And as a result, they're getting some bonus runs with, leg glances going for 4. But let's wait and see, as the Indians come out with a different plan.
It is already a different plan because Ishant Sharma has run into the first ball after TN bowled it right arm over across to Devin
And the
Conway.
length, length is fuller as well. I think you'll see a few balls being released.
There are already some changes. Now, I haven't made much of a chat on spin. We're out of time. We've had a fascinating chat about swing and seam bowling by Dale Steyn, or from Dale Steyn himself. But just very quickly as we round off, Shami looked like the most threatening bowler. At least he made the batsman seem most uncomfortable in that middle session, Dale. You see him bowling a lot more now. Would you want him to change it up to a little more right arm over? What's your take on who could be the biggest threat in this session?
I still like both Shami and Bumrah. I think Bumrah, it's just, there's a fear factor about Bumrah. You know, I think every team around the world, whether it be Test or white ball cricket, are always going to have that fear factor of Bumrah. But Shami seems, in my opinion, the most likely to get the best, most out of this wicket through the air and off the deck. He did it now when in the session now, and I think he's going to be the most crucial bowler for India right now. So Virat's going to have to juggle his bowlers well. He's got Jadeja there that he can also bring in at some point too, and just see if he can get some stop off that deck, maybe even a little bit of purchase. But he's gonna have to juggle his seam as well here, because it's still a long day ahead for the Indian bowlers, and with three seamers, they've got a lot ahead of them.
All right. Well, let's pick up this conversation. Let's hope it's a fascinating final session, which makes for great cricketing chat with Dale Steyn and Sanjay Manjrekar. Thank you very much, gents. Let's pick up this chat later. Ishant Sharma is already bowling right arm over and falling through in his follow through onto the pitch. So it's already something.
He's into his own now.
Yeah. We'll pick up the chat then. It's a big session. I think it'll decide who's perhaps in front in this test match. So keep an eye out for the conversation on the post-match show on Intel Presents ESPN Cricket for Match Day, powered by Royal Star. See you then.
Thank you.
インテル入ってる。